Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I am Deepika, and coming up in the next 1 hour. South Korea on edge as investigators try to arrest impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol. 2 military officials, including army chief, indicted. FBI says New Orleans attacker acted alone, supported ISIS. US President Joe Biden says no safe harbor in the US for ISIS. A US Special Forces soldier blew up a Tesla Cybertruck in Las Vegas, shot himself in the head before the blast, motivation still unknown. Israel's Prime Minister approves delegation to resume ceasefire negotiations in Doha. Israeli airstrikes kill Gaza police chief. IDF informs of targeting Syrian army positions in September. And in sports, Rohit Sharma opts himself out from ongoing India versus Australia Test series. Trouble mounts for Team India with 3 quick wicket loss at lunch at the Sydney Cricket Ground. A very good morning to all our viewers joining us at DD India News Hour. And now let's begin with the latest update from South Korea. Now, South Korea's police officers have arrived at President Yoon Suk-yeol's home in a bid to arrest him over his short-lived declaration of martial law in early December. Now, about 20 investigators from the Corruption Investigation Office and police officers were seen entering the gate of Yoon's residence in Seoul to execute the warrant for his detention. Hundreds of Yoon supporters gathered on the main road close to the police and tried to deny access to President's residence. Now, Yoon's lawyers said they will challenge the unlawful arrest warrant. 2 South Korean military officials, including the army chief Park An-soo, who was named the martial law commander last month, have been indicted after being detained by the prosecutors who are currently investigating insurrection charges. The embattled president is wanted for questioning in multiple investigations, including accusations of leading an insurrection after he suddenly declared martial law in early December. A court on Tuesday approved the warrant for Yoon, the first time such a move has been taken towards a sitting president. Yoon was suspended from duties on 14th December after the lawmakers voted to impeach him, but he can only be removed from the office if this is upheld by the country's constitutional court. And now to discuss more on this, I'm joined by DD India correspondent Anil Thomas. Anil, good morning. What is the latest update as tensions continue to simmer outside President's residence? Anil.
Good morning, Deepika. Well, not much of headway that the Corruption Investigation Office has been, able to make, especially when it comes to entering the residence there. And there is a clear standoff there. Almost 4 hours since they have left the office, almost 3 hours since they have entered, but serious object their rights to enter and arrest with the arrest warrant that they are holding that's valid for a week, that's valid till next Tuesday. And we are almost into the 3rd arrest warrant there. So there is a serious attempt that the Corruption Investigation Office is trying to make when it comes to entering the residence. But the protesters outside, they are holding onto the American flag, and now they, comes to the rescue of Yoon. That's very unlikely. And, this is just buying time. What Yoon supporters, what Yoon is using his supporters for is to buy time. Remember, if he is able to evade arrest in the first place, that's his first attempt. If he is able to evade arrest, time and again they come and they go back, which looks very unlikely, but it's hoping against hope that Yoon and his supporters are doing, because he's time and again talking to his supporters, trying to help tell them that keep this going, because this is a fight to save him and his party. The opposition party, which controls most of the MPs or most of parliament, is clearly asking him to stop this and come and face the investigation. That's something that the opposition has been doing. And remember that just a week before, not even a week gone by, we've seen a big airline crash that's taken place in South Korea. So there is, too much that the government and the present day government has to manage when it comes to handling things on the table. And I think Yoon is not helping in any way helping things move forward. He's trying to delay things. He's looking at the inevitable, but it looks unlikely that he's going to take this very long.
Considering the ongoing protest outside President's house and considering the fact that the protesters lined up since late night to avoid this thing, but what is the case that we are considering if the arrest takes place, because there are continuous developments which are underway there outside his residence, Anil?
Deepika, that's very much clear that this arrest is going to take place. The warrants are valid till Tuesday. That's Jan 6th. I think before that, the investigating office or the corruption investigating officers will be able to make headway. Remember, the president's security is very much a part of helping these protesters. So, he's still got some support there on the ground, but it's just delaying the inevitable. He's going to get arrested sooner or later unless he can get something from the court. And the bigger problem that he faces is especially the full strength of the bench that is needed. There were 6 judges, 2 more have been appointed, and there is a likelihood of the opposition parties coming together and appointing the 9th judge. And of the 9 judges there in that constitutional bench, the bigger problem that Yoon faces, he's got just one of them appointed there on the bench. So it's practically, if one takes a look purely in terms of mathematics there, if we are looking at a support that Yoon gets, it's just one judge that he has on the constitution bench. So if he's arrested, his troubles amount, it gets magnified. And I don't think Yoon having an escape window once his arrest happens. And I think that's what even Yoon and his supporters understand, that you delay the arrest, because if you can delay the arrest, the rest the things can be managed at a later point of time. But having said that, it looks very unlikely. The way things are moving fast and thin, I think it looks likely that his arrest could happen, as early before this weekend ends.
All right. Thank you so much, Anil, for joining us and bringing us a quick update on the current and ongoing development there in South Korea. Moving on to the US. US President Joe Biden said on Thursday that he learned from intelligence meetings that the US Army veteran who drove a truck into a crowd of New Year's Day revelers had pledged allegiance to Islamic State but acted alone in the attack that killed at least 14 people. The suspect, who the FBI said was shot dead at the scene, has been identified as Shamsuddin Jabbar, who posted videos on Facebook on the morning of the attack in which he said he supported the ISIS. Now, Joe Biden said, as per the FBI, there is no link between the attack in New Orleans and the incident in Las Vegas on the same day.
People in New Orleans are sending an unmistakable message. They will not let this attack or the attackers' deluded ideology overcome us. None of us should fear that it will overcome us. We're going to continue to relentlessly pursue ISIS and other terrorist organizations where they are, and they'll find no safe harbor here. I'll continue to provide updates in New Orleans and Las Vegas as the facts develop.
Now, a U.S. Special Forces soldier who blew up a Tesla Cybertruck outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas shot himself in the head before the blast. U.S. law enforcement officials say his motivation is still unknown. Matthew Livelsberger, a member of the elite Green Berets, took his own life in the rented vehicle filled with fuel containers and fireworks, which then erupted into flames. Livelsberger's body was burned beyond recognition. Las Vegas police said he had been identified as the driver of the vehicle and that the coroner had ruled he had died by suicide. Livelsberger, identified through his military ID, passport and credit cards, was found with a gun at his feet. And to get us more on this, I'm joined by Shubhendu Ghosh, who's joining us from New Delhi. Good morning, Shubhendu. Now, an official statement has come from current US President Joe Biden, reassuring that the US will relentlessly pursue ISIS and other terrorist organizations. But looking at the history of attacks across the US, what do you think how the US government is going to respond to this matter, considering the fact that 20th of January will have a new chapter in US's political history? Shubhendu.
That's right. Good morning, Deepika. There's the series of couple of attacks that have come in has indeed threatened to open a Pandora's box as far as US's history of fight with the terror group ISIS is concerned. First, let's get the facts right. No terror group officially has claimed responsibility for either of the attacks, the New Orleans or the Las Vegas attack. In New Orleans, we know Samsudeen Jabbar, the culprit, there was a ISIS flag allegedly found in his vehicle that was used to crush innocent civilians. So in that sense, a link is being established between him and ISIS. And a little look at the recent history of the United States, particularly its fight against the ISIS that peaked in the year 2022, around which time it also sort of wiped out ISIS along with his allies from their mainstay in Syria. We see that Samsudeen Jabbar, in fact, was inspired by the data that has come in, inspired by the ISIS ideology. And he committed what was then a term was coined called lone wolf attack, wherein it is just the ideology, you get radicalized by the propaganda of the terror group, and then you commit the crime by yourself. And that makes it very difficult to track the movement and stop such crimes. These crimes peaked around 2022 in the US and also in different parts of the West and Europe in particular. So in that sense, it is going to be challenging if it indeed is the re-emergence of ISIS. A lot is happening also in their erstwhile stronghold of Syria. The Assad regime has fallen. A new government is taking over. A new power is rising there. It is also an opportunity for the ISIS fighters to regroup. But is there a direct link between the ISIS fighters in West Asia and the attack that has happened in New Orleans or even in Las Vegas is a matter of concern. Another link that is quite disturbing is that both these culprits, Samsudeen Jabbar and Matthew Livelsberger, happen to be erstwhile US Army, US soldiers. In fact, Matthew happens to be a decorated soldier of the US Army. He's been awarded for his acts of bravery. So in that sense, those links do make these incidents more disturbing. Of course, it's tragic. Multiple casualties have taken place. Many injured are still in the hospital. Many people have come forward to donate blood in New Orleans, where the number of casualties and injured is higher. But the investigation is still underway, Deepika, to find out the linkages between what has happened with the larger terror network, so to say.
Also with this incident, Shubhendu, Trump has once again targeted the immigrants. And now, having known his will to go strict against the concern, how are we expecting Trump's presidency to take up such growing cases across the US?
Deepika, this incident happens at a very crucial time in the United States. Remember, it is a time of transition. Come 20th January, America will have a new president. Also, the governments in the U.S. Capitol will the part in the U.S. Capitol will also shift to the Republicans. In that sense, this moment of transition is very crucial. This is when these incidents have happened. Also, if you see the places and the mode through which these attacks have taken place,
right.
One attack in New Orleans that has taken place, and then the other one, the Las Vegas one, also outside Trump Tower. Okay. What was used was a Tesla car, which is Elon Musk's brand. These linkages are also being explored. Yes, Donald Trump has in fact squarely blamed what has happened in these incidents to unchecked immigration, that the present government had left the doors open for immigrants, for criminals to come in, and they are the people who are responsible for the incident. Although the data, the update that has come in is that both these culprits are in fact US citizens. They are not just US citizens, but they've in fact worked in different capacities for the US Army. So in that sense, there is no direct link between illegal immigration and what has happened. But given that Donald Trump is going to be the next president, he's putting his weight behind the narrative of immigrants being responsible is going to be in focus again. He had said that 11 million immigrants, illegal immigrants, will have to leave the United States. And incidents like these add more oil to the fire that he would try to utilize.
Thank you so much, Shubhendu, for joining us and bringing a rounded perspective on what is happening in the United States right now. Moving on to the southeastern European country of Montenegro, where several hundred people, including political leaders, lit candles in the main square of capital Podgorica in tribute to the 12 victims of a shooting that took place the previous day. A man shot dead 12 people in a rampage in a small town of Montenegro before turning his gun on himself early on Thursday. The attacker, named by the police as a 45-year-old Eko Martinovic, initially shot dead 4 people at a restaurant on Wednesday afternoon after an altercation. He then shot dead 8 other people, including 2 children, in 4 different locations in the small town. It was the second mass shooting in less than 3 years in the same town. In August 2022, a gunman killed 10 people, including 2 children, before being shot dead. We're heading for a short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. We'll get you the latest update on California's plane crash. More on United States as it considers new rules to address risks posed by drones. And stunning visuals from World Sailing Race as icebergs surfaced during the event for the first time since 2008. Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Now, a small plane crashed into a commercial building in Southern California on Thursday, killing 1 and injuring several others, according to local authorities. Aerial footage of the crash's aftermath showed a plume of smoke rising from an open hole in the building's roof, though firefighters were able to extinguish the blaze at the root of the smoke. As per reports, the crash occurred after the plane's pilot requested an emergency landing at Fullerton Municipal Airport shortly after the takeoff, according to the Orange County Register, that noted clearance was given to use either side of the runway. Over 100 people were evacuated from the building the plane collided with. Now, Brazil has started examining the black box recorders from a Brazilian-made jetliner that crashed in Kazakhstan, killing 38 of the 67 people aboard. The decoding of the plane's recorder data will be undertaken by FAB's Data Reading and Analysis Laboratory in collaboration with technicians from Kazakhstan, where the plane crash occurred, Azerbaijan, which is the origin of the flight and home to the airline, along with Russia, which is the flight's final destination. Embraer 190 crashed near Aktau, Kazakhstan on the 25th of December, resulting in 38 casualties. Now, this incident has created tension between Russia and Azerbaijan, with the latter alleging that the plane was accidentally shot down by Russian forces. The crash occurred amidst Ukrainian drone attacks in southern Russia. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has approved the return of Israeli negotiators to Doha for the continuation of Gaza ceasefire talks. The negotiations are currently on standstill, with mediators reporting substantial disagreements over the key terms. Now, the deal would have facilitated the release of up to 30 captives held by Hamas in exchange for Palestinian prisoners and increased humanitarian access to the Gaza Strip. Tel Aviv wants a deal that does not include stopping the conflict and withdrawing fully from Gaza. Meanwhile, Israeli airstrikes across the Gaza Strip on Thursday killed the chief of Gaza's police force and his deputy. Israel said the head of Hamas internal security forces in southern Gaza, the terrorist Hassam Shahwan, was eliminated in an intelligence-based strike in Al-Mawasi, just west the city of Khan Yunis. IDF said Shahwan was responsible for developing intelligence assessments in coordination with elements of Hamas's military wing in attacks on the IDF in Gaza. It added that the Hamas internal security forces have conducted violent interrogations of the Gazan population, violating human rights and suppressing dissent within the organization. In some other related updates, Israel Special Forces raided an underground missile production site in Syria in the month of September. Informing about the same on Thursday, Israel said it was primed to produce hundreds of precision missiles for use against it by the Iranian-backed Hezbollah. The military released footage showing Israeli troops boarding and dismounting from helicopters and moving through what appears to be a concrete-lined tunnel and industrial site where they examined the documents. Other footage showed senior commanders at a control center, apparently as the operation proceeds. As Assad's government crumbled towards the end of last year, Israel launched a series of strikes against Syrian military infrastructure and weapons manufacturing sites to prevent them falling into the hands of enemies. Now, Syria's top diplomat arrived in Saudi Arabia in a landmark first visit abroad by members of the new Syrian administration less than a month after it took power. Syria's newly appointed Foreign Minister Assad Hassan al-Shibani met with Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan bin Abdullah Al Saud in Riyadh. Salman said in a post on X that he had discussed with Syria's new foreign minister how best to support Syria's political transition. Shibani headed the Syrian delegation that included Defense Minister Murfa Abu Qasra. The meeting also included Syria's intelligence chief. The visit came less than a month after Bashar al-Assad was ousted by the rebels. Now, Syrian forces carried out security checks in homes looking for pro-Assad fighters and weapons on Thursday. The Ministry of Interior, in cooperation with the Military Operations Department, began a wide-scale combing operation in the neighborhoods of home city Wadi al-Dahab and Akrama. The search was carried out by fighters from the ruling Islamist Hayat Tahrir al-Sham group that led the campaign that ousted Assad last month. A security official said the operation aims at looking for war criminals and those involved in crimes who refuse to hand over their weapons and go to the settlement centers, but also hidden ammunition and weapons. A security official said that the operation aims to look for war criminals and fugitives from justice as well as hidden weapons. Since Islamist-led rebels overthrew Assad last month, the transitional government has ordered all members of Assad's former security forces to hand their weapons over and surrender to the Islamist fighters or face the trial. Now, shifting focus to Russia-Ukraine crisis. Ukrainian forces strike deep into Russia's Kursk region, targeting a command post in Marino with precision missiles. The attack comes 5 months after Ukrainian troops crossed the border, holding on to pockets of Russian territory despite counterattacks. Now, Russia's military claimed its air defenses intercepted 4 missiles, but the attack caused widespread damage. Ukraine stated the strike was aimed at disrupting Russian attacks. Russia reported additional drones targeting nearby regions, though no casualties were reported. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed hope on Thursday that US President-elect Donald Trump could play a pivotal role in ending the Russia-Ukraine conflict. In a televised interview, Zelensky revealed Trump's promise to prioritize Ukraine after his inauguration, praising his decisiveness to counter Vladimir Putin's action. Zelensky emphasized that Ukraine's independence and security depend on strong US involvement, including NATO aspirations. As Russian forces gain ground in eastern Ukraine, Zelensky stressed the urgency of stabilizing the front lines and maintaining Ukrainian morale. While open to the US-led settlement plans, he insisted Ukraine's sovereignty must guide negotiations. With elections postponed, Zelensky said his re-election bid depends on Ukraine's future stability. Now, meanwhile, gas supplies across Europe remain stable with the exception of Moldova. The European Union confirmed on Thursday despite the abrupt halt of Russian gas transits via Ukraine. Now, this marks the end of a decades-long agreement between Kyiv and Moscow, terminated by Ukraine, that previously generated billions for both the nations. while Russian gas now accounts for less than 10% of the European Union's imports, which is down from 40%. Before Russia-Ukraine conflict, some eastern member states remain reliant on it. Poland, holding the European Union presidency, reported no significant price hikes and emphasized that storage reserves and third country imports are meeting the demand. Now, the breakaway Moldovan region of Transnistria faces an escalating energy crisis after Russia cut gas supplies, forcing almost all the industry to shut down. The halt came as Gazprom severed ties over a financial dispute with Moldova's government, coinciding with the collapse of a gas transit deal through Ukraine. Now, the region struggles to survive, burning coal for power as over 70,000 households endure a harsh winter without heating or hot water. Schools and universities have switched to remote learning and residents resort to gathering firewood to stay warm. The rest of Moldova has been spared for now, able to secure power imports from neighbouring Romania. It was already cut off from direct Russian gas, but still relied on a major Russian-supplied power plant in Transnistria for electricity. The United States is considering new rules to address risks posed by drones with tech from foreign adversaries like China and Russia. While commercial drones are common in the world's biggest economy, the Commerce Department warned that involvement by the US rivals may offer adversaries the ability to remotely access and manipulate these devices, exposing sensitive US data. The decision on new rules will fall to the incoming administration of President-elect Donald Trump. Flagging the risk from China and Russia, the Commerce Department said, and I quote, "These countries can leverage their political and legal frameworks to co-opt private entities for national interests," unquote. Now, the latest efforts could lead to restrictions or bans involving Chinese drones, a market that China dominates. Now, let's take a look at other stories making news around the globe. Icebergs were seen during the Venti Global single-handed round-the-world sailing race for first time since 2008. Icebergs had been confirmed by CLS, an organization working with Venti Globe that uses satellites and teams of experts to monitor ice from space. The isolated icebergs had been seen north of the Antarctic exclusion zone along the Venti Global route. Hundreds of Middle Jurassic dinosaur footprints, including tracks of the 9-meter predator Megalosaurus, have been uncovered by the researchers in an Oxfordshire quarry in southern England. The dig at Juver's Farm Quarry found 5 extensive trackways, one of which measured more than 150 meters in length. Quarry worker Gary Johnson discovered ancient footprints while stripping clay, leading to a June excavation by over 100 researchers who unearthed around 200 footprints. Time to take a short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. Maldives Foreign Affairs Minister Abdullah Khalil in New Delhi for a 2-day official visit. Up next, we'll get you live updates on changing weather conditions across India. And grand preparations for 76th Republic Day celebrations in full swing as defence personnel commence parade rehearsals in New Delhi.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Now it's time to quickly recap the top headlines of the hour. South Korea on edge as investigators try to arrest impeached President Yoon. 2 military officials, including Army chief, indicted. FBI says New Orleans attacker acted alone, supported ISIS. US President Joe Biden says no safe harbor in the US for ISIS. A US Special Forces soldier blew up a Tesla Cybertruck in Las Vegas, shot himself in the head before the blast. Motivation still unknown. Israel's Prime Minister approves delegation to resume ceasefire negotiations in Doha. Israeli airstrikes kill Gaza police chief. IDF informs of targeting Syrian army positions in September. And in sports, Rohit Sharma opts himself out from ongoing India versus Australia test. Trouble mounts for India with 3 quick wickets loss at lunch at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Now, Maldives Foreign Affairs Minister Abdullah Khalil arrived in New Delhi on Thursday for a 2-day official visit. He will be meeting India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today. According to the Ministry of External Affairs, the Foreign Minister's first official visit to India highlights the comprehensive economic and maritime security partnership between the two sides. The partnership was discussed during President Mohammad Muissu's 5-day visit to India in October 2024. Now, he is the first foreign minister to visit India in the year 2025. Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister for Political Affairs Majid Takht Ravanchi is also in New Delhi, and he is expected to hold talks with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar along with Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri. The visiting leader will also participate in the 19th round of Iran-India political consultations. Iran and India have a long-standing historical relationship underscored by cultural and economic ties and formalized by the 2003 Strategic Partnership Agreement. This partnership has flourished, particularly in the fields of energy and trade, with bilateral trade reaching an impressive $17.5 billion in 2022-23. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh met Defence Research and Development Organisation senior scientists and officials in New Delhi on Thursday to mark the 67th Foundation Day of the organisation. In his address, the Defence Minister commended DRDO for developing the indigenous capabilities of the country by equipping the armed forces with state-of-the-art technologies or equipment and bolstering the defence sector through collaboration with the private sector. On 2025 being declared as the year of reforms, Rajnath Singh asserted that DRDO will play a crucial role in achieving the set objectives. And he thus exhorted Team DRDO to continue moving ahead in sync with the rapidly evolving technological ecosystem and keep coming out with niche products. Besides, Rajnath Singh also shared certain forward-looking ideas with them that help in strengthening research and development in the area of defence sector. Now, India and Bangladesh have announced that they have agreed to release the fishermen in each other's custody after they cross the border. According to the agreement, Bangladesh will hand over 95 Indian fishermen to Indian authorities on the 5th of January, while India will release 90 Bangladeshi fishermen on the same day. In a statement, the Ministry of External Affairs said in recent months, several Indian fishermen have been arrested by Bangladesh authorities who inadvertently crossed the international maritime boundary line and entered the country's waters. Several Bangladesh fishermen have also been apprehended by Indian authorities in similar circumstances. The Ministry of External Affairs said the mutual exchange of fishermen and their vessels had been worked out, keeping in mind the humanitarian and livelihood concerns of fishing communities on both the sides. And now it's time to take a look at other stories making news across the country. India's Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw will be on a day-long visit to northeastern state of Assam on Friday. During his visit, the minister will flag off 3 trains from Guwahati railway station. He will flag off Guwahati New Lakhimpur Jan Shatabdi Express, New Bungaingon Guwahati passenger train and Tinsukia Naharalagun Express. In a virtual ceremony, the minister will also inaugurate a 10-kilowatt FM transmitter at Akashvani Kokrajhar. Officials noted that this addition will expand FM coverage within 70 kilometers radius, offering high-quality broadcasts to over 30 lakh residents. India's Bharatiya Janata Party has appointed election officers for the election of the state presidents and national council members of the party. The list includes the name of union ministers and senior party leaders. Union Minister Bhupendra Yadav has been appointed as election officer for Gujarat, while Union Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has been given the responsibility of Karnataka. Besides, Union Minister Piyush Goyal has been appointed as the election officer for Uttar Pradesh. Union Minister Manohar Lal has been tasked with Bihar. Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan will oversee an election in Madhya Pradesh, and Union Minister Kiren Rijiju has been given the responsibility of Sikkim. India's Ministry of Home Affairs amended the Model Prison Manual 2016 and the Model Prisons and Correctional Services Act 2023 to address the issue of caste-based discrimination of the inmates. According to the new manual, prison authorities must now strictly prohibit caste-based discrimination, classification and segregation. The grand preparations for the 76th Republic Day celebrations are in full swing as defence personnel have commenced their parade rehearsals in New Delhi. The practice session at Kartavya Path saw a display of practice and discipline, setting the stage for the upcoming national event. Now, as severe cold wave envelopes North India, the Indian Meteorological Department has issued cold wave dense fog alerts across the region. Delhi is experiencing its coldest temperatures in years as the city reported significant drop in temperatures, prompting shelters for the homeless and gatherings around bonfires as residents brace for the chill. Meanwhile, dense fog and poor air quality also gripped New Delhi, reducing visibility in parts of the city that dropped to 0 meters. The air quality index remained in the poor category at 278 as of Thursday. On the other hand, India's Himachal Pradesh is also set to witness fresh snowfall and rainfall. According to the Meteorological Department, the state is expected to experience heavy rainfall on 5th and 6th of January, while the plains and low hills will likely remain dry. And to get us the latest from Shimla, I'm joined by DD India correspondent Muskan Chaudhary. Good morning, Muskan. How is Shimla bracing up with the harsh winter conditions there, especially when we look at the latest IMD predictions?
Himachal has entered New Year with the clean and the blue skies, but according to the State Meteorological Department, the weather is going to take turn today, and from today onwards till 7 January, there will be snowfall and scattered rain throughout the state. And if I'm talking about the prediction that has been made by the IMD, in the higher and the mid regions of the state, there will be scattered rain, and during this time, during the plain regions, there will be yellow alert for the rain and the thunderstorm as well. So the tourists which are coming to the states are advised right now that they keep an eye on the weather and they keep in touch with the administration and follow their instruction. And administration doesn't want that the situation which happened during the last snowfall in Atal Tunnel and around the areas, the vehicles that were stuck there. So they are keeping an eye on the tourists which are coming to the states, so they don't have to go through the same problem again. And right now the weather is partly clouded, and we are going to receive snowfall really soon.
What sort of impact is it putting on the tourist footfall, Muskan?
See, in state, during the Christmas and the New Year, the tourist flow has been really good, but there has been a significant, the number has decreased of the tourists which are coming to the state right now. But if it snows, then of course the state will be filled with the tourists again, and they will enjoy the landscape of the Himachal.
All right, thank you so much, Muskan, for joining us and bringing us the latest weather update from Shimla. We are heading for a short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. US President Joe Biden to announce decision on US steel acquisition as early as Friday. Novak Djokovic passed into quarterfinal of the ongoing Brisbane International. And Iran walls narrate the stories of local lives.
geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium, we'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
I'm on a quest to explore the history of Goa. A land steeped in diverse and intersecting cultures and traditions.
I think this is one of my favorite pieces of art in the city.
Here, influences from multiple faiths coalesce in beautiful ways. From religious sites to charming villages and vibrant streets. Watch Postcards from Goa on National Geographic.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Now let's get you all the latest from the world of business. US President Joe Biden is expected to reveal decision on steel acquisition as early as Friday. The decision is regarding whether he will approve Japan's Nippon Steel's 5,401.T acquisition of American steelmaker. Sources said Nippon has proposed giving the US government veto power over any potential cuts to the US Steel's production capacity as part of its efforts to secure an approval. The Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States recently referred the decision to approve or block the deal to Biden, who will leave office on the 20th of January. Biden must decide on the deal by the 7th of January, and if it takes no action, it would result in the merger's automatic approval. In its proposal, Nippon Steel has pledged a 10-year commitment not to cut production capacity at US Steel's domestic mills unless approved by a Treasury-led review panel. Apple has agreed to pay $95 million to settle a lawsuit accusing its virtual assistant Siri to eavesdrop on people using its iPhone and other trendy devices. The proposed settlement, filed on Tuesday in an Oakland, California federal court, would resolve a 5-year-old lawsuit revolving around allegations that Siri listens on private conversations of people with iPhones, iPads, HomePods or other Apple devices in hands with the digital assistant. The alleged recordings occurred even when people did not seek to activate the virtual assistant with the trigger words, "Hey Siri." The California-based tech giant has made user privacy a big part of its brand image and one of the reasons it tightly controls its ecosystem of hardware and software. And now let's get you all the latest from the world of sports, and first let's begin with the latest action which is currently unfolding in Sydney. India's top order departed early in the fifth and final test match of the Border Gavaskar Trophy against Australia, which is currently underway in Sydney. India opted to bat on a green pitch and lost both KL Rahul and Yashasvi Jaiswal inside first 10 overs, and just when Shubman Gill started to find his rhythm, gifted his wicket to Nathan Lyon on score of 20. Virat Kohli then followed suit, throwing his wicket again to an off-stump ball. Scott Boland with 2 wickets emerged as the pick of the bowler so far on day 1, while Mitchell Starc and Nathan Lyon bagged 1 wicket each. Jasprit Bumrah is leading the Indian team after regular skipper Rohit Sharma opted to sit out, citing poor form. While earlier on Thursday, Indian coach Gautam Gambhir declined to confirm that Captain Rohit Sharma would play the 5th test, committing only to naming the team before the toss. Skipper Rohit Sharma has struggled for runs in the 3 tests he's played so far out of the 5-match test series against Australia. Gambhir also broke silence on dressing room leaks, stating that debates between players and coaches should remain in dressing room and that everything is under control in the dressing room, but further admitted he had honest conversations with the team after losing the Melbourne Cricket Ground Test to go 2-1 down in the ongoing Border-Gavaskar series. While Jasprit Bumrah today at toss said that Rohit has shown leadership by opting to rest in this game, that shows that there is a lot of unity in the team and no selfishness as well. So the current India versus Australia the 5th test match is going on. Today is the first day of the ongoing 5th test match, and Virat Kohli has also departed because it was a big loss for Team India when we look at the match which is resumed after lunch on day 1. Before that, India lost Shubman Gill on the final delivery before the end of the first session, while KL Rahul and Yashasvi Jaiswal also departed. But the debate surrounds on Rohit Sharma, on whether he's opted out or has he been vested. And to discuss more on this, I'm joined by DD India sports correspondent Narayan Singh from New Delhi. Narayan, good morning. Now the debate continues on Rohit Sharma because he's himself opted out from the test series. But there are big question marks emerging on this latest development, because probably this is for the first time it is happening that the test captain himself opts out from the ongoing test series. Narayan.
Talking about Rohit Sharma, as we saw, Gautam Gambhir in his press conference said that when he was asked about the Rohit Sharma will be there or not in the Sydney test match, then he said that he's not non-committal about the Rohit Sharma because his form was not up to the mark. We saw he's making 31 runs so far in the series when he came back from the India. So question marks were over his position, his batting, his form was there. Also, we know that there was a talks held between the selectors, between the coach, and maybe the Rohit Sharma may be involved in that also. He also have, according to the reports, these are all, we are talking on the basis of the reports, he may also have said that he may be sit out, maybe rested for this match. But things were already there. Different reports came from the different sources. But I think that the things that happened was not up to the mark, not good for the team. Because we know that form is a part and parcel of the game. In the past also we saw for when Mohammad Azharuddin and Saurabh Ganguly, for a long time they were out of the form, but still they were the part of the form, part of the team. But here we saw that Rohit Sharma, whatever we call, whether he was dropped in or rested, but I think that he was the mentor of the team. He was there to guide the team. And we bought the team. We made the changes here too. We bought Shubman Gill in place of him. But still, Shubman Gill could not make a big impact on the match. And we know that these things just make the atmosphere of the dressing room more uncomfortable, as the reports emerged that something is not well inside the dressing room. And Gautam Gambhir also in his press conference said that the dressing room leaks is not good for the any team and such team. And we know that a dressing room is like a family where if such things happens, and it's actually it impacts the form of the team, the performance of the team. Exactly that is happening here in the Sydney too. We are hoping that things will go well. The New Year's start will on a positive note for the India, but right now we saw that the 82 for the loss of 4 wickets. Even Virat Kohli and the top order again stumbling here. So we know that the last test match where India lost in the Melbourne Cricket Ground against the Australians. India played exceptionally well cricket. They were out of the match. Again, Nitish Kumar Reddy played a fantastic knock. Again, they made a comeback. But we know that Test cricket is the art of taking 20 wickets. The team who takes the 20 wicket that wins the match. I think here the things happened not in the favor of the India, because India were unable to take 20 wickets, and especially over-reliant on the Jasprit Bumrah. He was the lone warrior in the match, taking the Australian bowler single-handedly. That was the aspect. Rather than dropping the Rohit Sharma, we should have kept him in the team as the captain. We know that there was very few. We can say that there are drawbacks, but very few. Unless and until we can say that some blunder was going, that his captaincy was good, but it was only because of the form. I think he has been dropped in this Test match, and also the rumors were that he might, we can say that, take retirement after the Test match. But things were not, we can say that, good for the Indian team if such things are happening.
All right, thank you so much, Narayan, for joining us and bringing us the update on the ongoing India versus Australia Border Gavaskar Trophy Test Series. Moving on, India's Youth Affairs and Sports Ministry on Thursday announced the National Sports Awards 2024. Olympic medalist Manu Bhaker, hockey player Harmanpreet Singh, chess world champion D. Gukesh and para-athlete Praveen Kumar have been named as the recipients of the prestigious Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award. Yes, more.
Manu Bhaker, hockey player Harmanpreet Singh, chess world champion D. Gukesh and para-athlete Praveen Kumar will be honored with the Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award. Gukesh became the youngest world chess champion in Singapore in December. Bhaker had won 2 bronze medals at the Paris Olympics. Harmanpreet had led India to a bronze medal in men's hockey at the same games. Praveen had won gold in men's high jump T64 discipline at the Paris Paralympics.
I would like to thank the Government of India, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji and Honorable Sports Minister for their recognition. This award will motivate me to work even harder and achieve more laurels for the country in 2025. And this means a lot to me and my family and my team.
The Sports Ministry also named 32 athletes for the Arjuna Award, including 17 para-athletes. The list includes athletes Jyoti Yaraji, Anu Rani, boxer Neetu Gangas, Sweetie Bura, chess player Vantika Agarwal, hockey player Salima Tete, Abhishek, Sanjay, Jarmanpreet Singh, Sukhjit Singh, para-archer Rakesh Kumar, para-athlete Preeti Pal, Dipti Jivanji, Ajit Singh, Sachin Sarjirao Khilari, Dharambir, Pranab Surma, H. Hokato Sima, Simran, Navdeep, para-badminton player Nitesh Kumar, Thulasimiti Murugesan, Nitya Sri Sumati Sivan, Manisha Ramadas, para-judo player Kapil Parmar, para-shooter Mona Agarwal, Rubina Francis, shooter Swapnil Suresh Kusle, Sarabjot Singh, squash player Abhay Singh, swimmer Sajan Prakash, and wrestler Aman. These athletes not only set benchmarks for excellence but also inspired a new generation to pursue sports with passion and resilience. Their accolades reflect India's robust talent pool and the country's commitment to nurturing sporting excellence through sustained investment and support. Sports Desk, DD India.
In tennis, Novak Djokovic and Aryna Sabalenka powered into the Brisbane International quarterfinals on Thursday. Djokovic cruised past fellow veteran Gael Monfils by 6-3, 6-3 in 72 minutes. The 37-year-old Serbian registered his 20th straight victory over the Frenchman in an entertaining clash. In the women's draw, world number 1 Sabalenka beat Kazakhstan Yulia Putintseva. Sabalenka fought back from 5-3 down in the first set to eventually win the match by 7-6 and 6-4 in 1 hour 49 minutes. On the other hand, Fabian Mursausen upset top-seeded Andre Rublev to dump him out of the Hong Kong Open in the second round on Thursday. With the first Grand Slam of the year just over a week away, the Hungarian emerged victorious over defending Hong Kong champion with a 7-5, 3-6, 6-3 scoreline. Fabian will face China's Shang Chang-Ching in the last 8 at Victoria Park. Moving on, in the winding alleys of Shiraz in southern Iran, artist Adil Yazdi has taken it upon himself to turn his rustic old neighborhood into a cultural and touristic hub through vibrant paintings and carved relief faces. Once neglected, the walls now narrate the stories of local lives, blending art with heritage to attract visitors and revive community spirit. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.